Today I'm going to remedy a well-documented fault on the P2 Volvos, which is the anti-skid temporarily off displayed on the dashboard. Now apparently this is something to do with the rotary coupling or clock spring, which I have a spare one here. This is the one I've removed from the 2006 donor vehicle. So I'm going to remove the steering wheel and remove this component, swap it over. I'm undecided whether to keep the Stalks because my car doesn't have the auto wipers, so that won't do anything, but they do look better, so probably will swap them over. Start by disconnecting the battery. You might have a plastic tray under here which I've removed from my car. We've just got a 10mm on the negative terminal. And now leave the car for 10 to 15 minutes while the capacitors in the airbag module deplete. We need to remove the airbag, so we'll pull the steering wheel column as far out as possible and turn the steering wheel to the side, because what we've got are two holes, one on each side of the steering wheel, with a T30 taut screw inside. Now the screw won't fall out of the hole, just loosen it fully and you'll be able to feel when it's loose. It's just rocking around in there. Then flip the steering wheel the other way and same again on the other side. Now with the bolts loose, the airbag will pop straight out easily enough. You'll notice that the clocks were lit up just previously. That's because I actually did forget to disconnect the battery. So we'll wait 10 minutes now after disconnecting the battery just to remove these connectors. The airbag removed. Now what you'll want to do is lock the steering wheel in the central position. So remove the key and enable the steering lock. $18mm socket for the steering wheel bolt. You will want to stick a little bit of thread lock on the bolt when refitting. Pull the steering wheel off and tuck the airbag cables through this hole. under the steering column we've got 3 T25 Torx screws. Remove them. The upper shroud you'll just be able to fold over out of the way. We've got one connector here and another connector on the back here, and then we just need to remove these 2 T25 Torx screws. With the bolts removed, you'll notice that it doesn't just drop straight off, and that's because we've got 2 little tabs. There's a tab on each side that just clips it in position, and once we flick those, the coupling and indicator stalks are completely removed. So we can just swap over straight for the new one, clip it into position, stick the bolts back in the top. So bolted up, not going anywhere. You'll notice around the rotary coupling, Volvo very kindly provided this warning information. Now, this is the rotary coupling currently is in the central position, or clock spring, whatever you prefer to call it. It says around here, make sure that the contact unit is in the central position, and it also tells you that the centre is 2.5 turns from the end. Okay, I don't think it actually was in the central position because it turned a few more times than 2.5. So basically you can see here, it's half a revolution away from the locking point. So if we go 2 turns right, so that's half a turn, 1, 2, that's in the central position, which should mean that if we go another 1, 2.5, three. Okay, 3 and a bit. I'm not sure what to make of this. So it says 2.5 turns from the contact stop, which I'm going to go with left hand down, because there's actually 5.5 revolutions that you can do before it reaches the stop. So I'm going to assume that the stop is at this position here, which is half of the central position. So we're going right half, 1.5, 2.5, and that is the central position for the clock spring. Replace the connectors. Refit the shroud and make sure that these rubber grommets are seated correctly. pull the airbag cabling through and refit the steering wheel in the position you wish. This is a great opportunity if your wheel is off centre to centralise it. Tighten the steering wheel bolt. I don't know what the torque rating for this is off the top of my head, but if I can find it I'll put it in the description. Reconnect the airbag and the multifunction controls. And finally stick the bolts back in that hold the airbag in position. Battery reconnected, so let's see what we get. We might get some codes initially because the battery has been disconnected, but once the steering wheel has been turned from left to right, we should have erased the code problem that we were having. So anti-skid temporarily off. We may need to erase it with a reader, but we'll see. So don't appear to have erased it. There is another possible cause of this issue, which is the yaw sensor module. So if this message doesn't disappear, then that'll be the next thing that we replace. But you've got a video replacing the airbag, steering wheel and the clock spring, along with the indicator stalks.